Number 40, Puzzle Planet League. Planet Puzzle League is the remake for Tetris Attack for the NES and later Pokemon Puzzle League for the Game Boy Advance, and surpasses them in every way. You have lines of different colored bricks slowly rising up the screen, and the objective is to keep them from reaching the top. You do this by creating lines up or down of 3 or more squares and making them disappear. This is done by taking a cursor and moving it over any 2 squares you want to swap. You do this with a stylus. It's incredibly smooth too. The game looks and sounds beautiful and has a boatload of different modes, from endless mode, puzzle modes where you have to remove all of the squares on the screen in a certain number of moves. Then there's also a garbage mode where you get a worthless brick thrown in and the only way to clear it is to remove bricks that are touching it. If you like the original versions of the game, you'll love this one. Number 39, Clubhouse Games. Clubhouse Games, or 42 All-Time Classics as it's known in Europe, is a collection of parlor games like chess or poker. Although there are a lot of these collections now, this is the first one I can recall being released. The graphics and score look and sound great, and all the games are more fun than you'd expect. There's a few obscure challenges, not just the usual suspects. Most of the games are locked at first, and you have to earn stamps by playing unlocked ones. But you earn stamps whether you win or lose, so you don't get stuck with games you don't like or suck at. Number 38, Feel the Magic, XYXX. Feel the Magic, XYXX was a charming launch title when the DS first came out a few years back. The idea is for the player to complete timed mini-challenges in order to get his girlfriend to eventually fall in love with him. It's a bit like WarioWare, only with a more forgiving time limit and quick instructions on how to actually play each game. You can tell it was made with Japanese players in mind because of the really funky graphics and the romantic storyline. Number 37, Space Invaders Extreme. Space Invaders Extreme was published to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the original classic. The arcade mode of the game is divided into 5 rounds with several stages of each, and there are bonus rounds when you shoot random UFOs that fly across the screen. There are really fun boss battles as well. The strategic element comes when you shoot 4 or more of one color in a row. Each color creates a different kind of cannon: laser, bomb, multiple projectiles, or shields. The music and graphics are very much influenced by the PSP game Luminous. A musical beat is made every time you hit an invader. The game lives up to the original really well. Number 36, Dementium 2. There are a few great first-person shooters for the DS, but I think one of the best, and you might disagree with me, is Dementium 2. It's a creepy horror game that takes place in and around an insane asylum. The game looks good, but the sound effects are excellent. The voice talking over a loudspeaker sounds really creepy. The controls are quite fluid and intuitive, as a good FPS should be. There's a story mode, but there's also a really tough survival mode too. Number 35, the New York Times Crosswords. The New York Times is famed for having the greatest crossword puzzle section in the newspaper world. They even filmed a hit documentary about it. Well, New York Times Crosswords for the DS is the best crossword puzzle collection for the DS or any other video game console. I remember playing it a lot when I was deployed in Iraq. The difficulty levels are divided into days, Monday being the easiest, while Sundays are the hardest. The control is very intuitive, and the virtual keyboard works really well. I'd recommend this for any crossword puzzle fan. Number 34, Ghost Trick, Phantom Detective. Ghost Trick, Phantom Detective is a clever puzzle game where the entire object is to solve the mystery of your death and figuring out who you were before you were killed. You must do this before your spirit disappears forever. You do this by possessing various items and controlling them to accomplish certain tasks. Some of those tasks involve saving the lives of other characters. Although the game is a bit talky at times, the engaging gameplay, quirky characters, and cool graphics make up for its flaws. Number 33, Peggle Dual Shot. Peggle Dual Shot is adapted from the now classic PopCap game. It's a colorful mixture of bust-a-move and pachinko with outstanding sound effects and really colorful graphics. It's a perfect mixture of luck and strategy that doesn't depend too much on luck. You have a cannon-like device at the top of the screen, and you shoot a limited number of balls to eliminate the bricks underneath it before using them all up. There's a bucket underneath some levels that will recover balls for you. The sound effects sound like you're playing a real pachinko game and is extremely addictive, like any good PopCap game. Number 32, N+. N+ first showed up on Xbox Live. It's a puzzle platformer where you control a ninja to get him to the exit of each different shaped level. You use them to jump, bounce between walls, and avoid obstacles. Oftentimes you have to complete objectives to make the exit available. The concept and graphics are simple, but one of the hardest games I've ever played, but it's still quite fun. And if you're a puzzler platformer fan, you can't go wrong with this one. Number 31, Honeycomb Beat. Honeycomb Beat is an underrated gem where each puzzle has a group of hexagons of 2 different colors, and the object is to tap certain ones to make them all one color, with a set number of balls allowed. The problem is when you tap one hexagon, the ones adjacent to it change color too. You have to determine which ones to tap. You have extra items you can place on the hexagons to help you solve each puzzle. This is probably one of the hardest puzzle games I've ever played. There's also a survival mode where you have hexagons rising to the top of the screen, and you have to tap hexagons to make lines of light colored hexagons disappear before they get to the top of the screen. Okay, I want to thank you guys for watching, but before I go, I want to give a shout out to a few people who helped me with some footage. The first one's going to be Renton ARG, Lazy on Night, Poochie EXE, Lee Burns 652011, The Two Kiwi, and Dragon Knights 103. I'm going to go ahead and put their descriptions or their sites down in the description. Go ahead and check out their sites. And in the meantime, I'll be working on part 3. And you guys have a good weekend. In the meantime, God bless you. Bye-bye.